Now we're going to talk about calculating our cash flows from operations, or our operating cash flow. And this is probably the most, I won't say complicated, but the most involved part of the statement of cash flows that we're going to work on. So there are two ways that you can calculate your statement or your operating cash flows. You can use the direct method, or you can use the indirect method. So in the direct method, you basically go and you find out, you say, okay, here's my total sales. How much of that resulted in cash? Here's my expenses. How much of those did I actually pay in cash? So you look at each of the line items that you would normally put on your balance sheet and say which of those are actually cash revenues and cash expenses. And so you come up with all of that. The direct method is complicated. And it's complicated because we don't normally keep our books in cash basis. We keep our books in accrual basis. So you're basically having to go into your accounting records that have all been maintained in accrual basis and convert them to cash basis. And it's a huge pain and it takes a lot of time. The indirect method, alternatively, is super easy because you basically just take your net income, you add back any non-cash expenses, things like depreciation, and then you look at the changes in your current asset and liabilities, and you basically extrapolate what's the cash impact of your changes to your current assets and your current liabilities. So it takes a lot less time and it's a lot easier. The direct method is the preferred method. It's the method recommended by the Securities and Exchange Commission, and it's really the method that they would like companies to use. The reality is I don't know anyone who uses the direct method. And if you see in your financial statements using the direct method, let me know, because I literally have never seen it in my 20 plus years of working in accounting. Everybody uses the indirect method. And it's just because it's a lot easier. And if you go back to the cost benefit principle, theoretically these two should come up with the same answer. It's certainly going to be materially the same answer. And so it would take, hours, days, weeks to convert your accrual basis accounting to cash basis to use for the direct method. So it's a lot easier to use the indirect method, and that's why most companies use it. So it's good to know they're both out there and that direct is preferred, and to know that nobody uses it, everybody uses indirect, and that's okay. All right, in the next video, I'm going to talk to you about the steps to apply the indirect method to create or to calculate your cash flow from operations. So I'll see you then.